Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the July 1st, 2014 meeting of the Downers Grove Village Council. It's my privilege to call this meeting to order. There are copies of our agenda on either side of the room. If you haven't already done so, please feel free to pick a copy up and you can follow along with our proceedings tonight. There will be multiple opportunities for public comment, both with respect to items that are on our agenda tonight, as well as a segment under item 4 on our agenda, which is reserved for public comments of a general nature with respect to matters that are not on our agenda. It is our proud custom to begin our meetings by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. So at this point in time, I would ask everyone who can please stand and join us in reciting the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I'd now like to ask our fine village clerk, April Holden, to please call the roll.
Commissioner Jose?
Here.
Commissioner Olson?
Here.
Commissioner Rankin? Here. Commissioner Barnett?
Here.
Commissioner Newstead?
Here.
Commissioner Durkin?
Here.
Mayor Tully?
Here. Thank you very much. That brings us to item 3 on our agenda, which pertains to minutes of prior council meetings. We have 3 sets of minutes tonight. Executive session minutes from June 10th, 2014, our regular council meeting minutes from June 17th, 2014, and the minutes of our special long-range planning meeting also on June 17th, 2014. Are there any changes, comments, corrections, or changes from any members of the village council with respect to any of those minutes? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Those minutes are all approved unanimously. That brings us to item 4, which, as I previously mentioned, is reserved for public comment with respect to items of a general nature. If any members of the audience have any questions or comments of a general nature with respect to items that are not appearing on our agenda tonight, now would be the time to please come to the podium, give us your name and address, which is the protocol, so all the folks at home can see and hear you, and we would welcome hearing from you.
Bear with me.
Take your time, sir.
I always say, take your time and hurry up. Hurry up and take your time.
The longer we wait, the more your words are worth hearing.
All right.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Bill Satanovich, and I live at 6612 Blackstone Drive, which is a great block to live on, except we have 3 sewers, and everybody's debris, because of the pitch, comes into my property and the cul-de-sac, and our sewers are so blocked up. Like last night, it was horrible again. I called up a non-emergency number last night. I heard a real bad pop when I went out for a cigarette around maybe 10:30, and I heard a gushing sound, kitty corner from my property, and I saw this humongous 3-4 foot spray of water, not a spray but a deluge of water coming from the ground, but not the sewer. That is kitty corner for me, because that was all clogged up. So I went in the house and I called my neighbor 2 doors from there, and I asked Lou if he would go out and see, because he's not handicapped like I am, to go and see what he sees. So he called me back, he says, "Oh my God," he says, "the gush of water that's pouring up into the air." So I figured, well, Bill, do your duty, call. So I called the non-emergency number, and I talked to a very nice young lady, evidently a dispatcher. And I waited up until about 1 o'clock in the morning, and nobody came, but by then, the water started going down, although our sewers were completely blocked. I cleaned mine today. It's hard. My neighbor cleaned hers, and the other one across the street is still clogged up. My biggest complaint is Blackstone Drive is from Oxford to 67th is a very long drive. When you go down Oxford to Fairmont, and then from Fairmont to what used to be the unincorporated, I think that's 57th, 59th? Well, before 63rd, okay? 63rd. And they have 10 sewers in just a short block, which 4 of those blocks would fit on Blackstone Drive. But why they have 10, I have no idea. We have 3. The people south of me and north of me don't care that our sewers get clogged up because most of it comes from the pitches coming into the our area. I'm just before the cul-de-sac. And I know it floods in the cul-de-sac, but mainly my house across the street, and then 3 more doors down, and that's it. But all of the debris comes and blocks up our sewers. And it's quite hard for me to go out and do this. I have people probably on the block laughing at me, then I'm a fool, but I don't want all that debris on my property, but I can't stop it. I talked to Dave, great guy. Where are you, Dave?
Right here, sir.
Okay.
Good to see
How are
you.
you?
Good.
My wife still loves you. She does. She said to say hi. He's a good guy to deal with, and he knows me probably like maybe a pain in your,
Not at all.
But I don't bitch, I don't moan, I don't yell, I don't scream, I don't holler. All I'm asking for is whoever engineered our street, as far as I'm concerned, should be shot. They dug everything up and put brand new sewers in, I guess 8-10 years ago. Why they didn't allow for more gutters, I have no idea, especially because of the pitch. I know it shouldn't cost that much. They can be tapped into. I know they can. But my biggest complaint is, why would that street, from what used to be the unincorporated to Oxford, that's Fairmont there, have 10, and we only have 3? And we have a pitch, they don't. They have a straight flow down. And last night, it was hilarious just watching all that water and twigs coming up to my sidewalk. And I think something should be done about it. I mean, I've been complaining about this about maybe 2 years now. And it's always in the agenda, but every time I read in the newspaper, it always seems like they're doing something on Washington. Now, who's the politician that lives in Washington by that gorgeous park? Anybody here?
No.
Because they sure want to take care of Washington, and I'm sure it's in the area of that park. I can't prove it, but I'm sure it's in that park. It's up, everything I read now is on Washington. It used to be McCullen Park, but they gave up on McCullen, and I used to love that park.
It's still a good park.
It's not as good as Washington, let me tell you. It used to be the best, then Washington took over. Anyway, that's the only thing that like I said, I'm the only one on the block that wants something done. They'll complain about it, but I can't help the people across the street are flooded because of their problem. But I says, I will not speak up for you. Get up, get a group of people that are having a problem on the east side. You do the bidding or arguing or whatever, or show pictures. You're on your own. I'm only interested about our street. I had speed signs put up because of all the children, and they did that faithfully, like almost overnight when I called. So I'm a concerned person. I love Downers Grove. I believe we're here going on maybe 22 years, and it was one of the best moves we made. I'm not going to move, but I would love to see something being done about that. And I have one more question, Mayor Tully.
Absolutely.
Why do we have to have a figurehead mayor? You're not a full-time mayor. You're here, what, just for the meetings, I believe?
It's a lot more to it than that, sir, but.
Well, I was
Not a
told,
full-time
I
mayor.
don't know, I was told that you're here for mainly the meetings,
If only that were the case, my wife would be greatly appreciative.
but are you a full-time, I don't know. Are
No,
you
sir,
a-
no one on the village council is full-time.
Because I was told you're working and you're a mayor.
Correct.
And like, I myself feel that we should have a mayor that is a mayor and isn't working, except for the city of Downers Grove.
That would be an interesting issue. We would have to change our form of government. Our
Right.
current form of government is a council-manager form of government, where the village council serves as like the board of directors of a corporation, sets policy, vision, votes on certain things, and I'm sort of like the chairman of the board.
Mm-hmm.
But the village is actually run by professional staff, much like the CEO of a company. Our village manager, who
Right.
you rightfully speak very
My buddy.
very highly of, is like our CEO, who is a full-time manager of the village. All the staff that work underneath him and with him are also full-time employees, but in our form of government, no one up here is full-time, and to be perfectly candid, the pay is commensurate with that. And
Well, I thought
basically
our mayor
volunteers.
should be.
No one would do this full-time for the, I mean,
Well, the
unless they
salary's
independently
gotta be
volunteer
there.
retired.
You know, the salary should be there.
Understood, that's just not the way Downers Grove has, and many other communities have viewed
Because
the form of government in our community.
If you'll excuse me, I always thought you were a figurehead, you know, because
That's probably the
all
kindest
of
thing
the
I've been
other
called.
towns have a mayor. We didn't, you know, we didn't have a mayor, but
Right.
then all of a sudden we had a mayor. But now, if you pardon me, I always figured you're just a figurehead. It's a status for Downers Grove to have the title mayor. So, I'm wrong?
I think that I would take issue with that. I think my colleagues would take issue that they are also figureheads that just show up for meetings. I think all of us spend a great deal of time in the community. We also spend a great deal of time in various different ventures throughout the community. There are many meetings that take place other than on Tuesday night. I know there's a reporter here from the Chicago Tribune who's spent many, many hours with us at many of those meetings, can attest to it. There's a lot more that goes into it than simply the Tuesday night meetings.
All right, well, you
For
have to
example,
pardon
when
me for
issues come
my,
up in neighborhoods, we'll make visits to neighborhoods.
yeah.
If I had $1 for every hour that Commissioner Olson here spends out in the community, I probably could retire and be a full-time mayor.
Well, I was just curious because I always thought we should have a full-time mayor and only a mayor. And nothing against Dave. Dave's wonderful. I mean, I cannot say I've never had a problem with that man. I call him almost on anything I have.
You notice as long as he keeps complimenting you, I'm letting him.
Thank you.
Except stop giving him so many raises.
Well, okay. That's probably a conversation for another time, sir, but if you want a full-time professional to run the community in the best way possible, you have to recruit and maintain top talent. We're basically volunteers.
Okay.
Yet we spend a tremendous amount of time in furtherance of this position. Some would call us insane for doing it, given the amount of time that's involved, but we do it because we're all neighbors in this community. We love Downers Grove. We want to see it both today and
Right.
many, many years in the future continue to be a wonderful place to live, work, and play.
We got the best rating and we
Yes,
got to
sir.
keep it.
It's all right here. But if you really want to run things professionally and consistent with modern standards, then you need to both attract and retain top talent. And we try to do that as best we can without going overboard. So
All right, forgive me for calling you a figurehead, but okay, you're
Like I said, sir,
Mayor
that's probably
Tully.
one of the nicest
Okay,
things
you'll
I
be a
can
Mayor
call
Tully to me.
in a few weeks.
Okay, and I
Getting
thank you
back
for
to
my
the sewer,
time.
though. Getting back to the sewer, though, I'm
Yes.
not going to pretend to know the history with your communications regarding Blackstone Drive and the sewers there, but I'm sure that we probably could figure out the origin of why it was designed the way it was, what, if any, improvements it might need. We are going to be talking about village-wide, looking at all of our various stormwater needs, and every time we have a huge rain event, like the one we had a couple of years ago where we had flooding in April and even ones like last night, we learned from that, and it aids us in modifying what our needs assessments are for stormwater throughout the community.
Well, if I
Clogs
could-
can be an issue, and I know Commissioner Newstat is pretty diligent reminding people that when the time comes to unclog those if they can, because neighbors are obviously the best stewards of their own block in many instances.
nobody cares on my block, unfortunately.
But in terms of what proper stormwater management, that is something that we pay a great deal of attention to. It's just, as you might imagine, there are many, many different parts of Downers Grove that also have issues, and we're doing
Oh,
our
I
best
can
to work through
imagine.
them.
Yes, I can imagine, but this is ever since we're here. I remember 2 bad ones where people were saying, oh, that's my garbage can on your property, Bill, I'm sorry. Oh, those are my timbers, Bill. Oh, my
Understood.
God, how did they? Twice it happened, but I mean, that's in between. But
Understood.
a deluge is a deluge, and we get hit.
Sounds like you got a geyser, is what you have. And thank you very much for coming down here today.
Well, thanks for your
Terrific-
time. I
terrific to see
appreciate
you.
what, listening to me.
Our pleasure.
And if you can help
That's what we're here to
out-
do.
Check out that, when I'm talking about those 10 on that Fairmont going to 63rd, and you'll see 10 of them just in that short area. And that street, like I said, 4 of them would fit on Blackstone Drive.
Interesting. As I sit here, I couldn't tell you the answer to that question, but
Thanks for your time.
we have professional people that can.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming down today.
I'll
And
be on your case, son.
thank you. Are there any other questions or comments of a general nature from any other members of the audience? Questions or comments of a general nature? Seeing none, we will move to item 5, which is reserved for council member reports. This is an opportunity for council members to report out on various goings-on in the community or other items of significance. Commissioner Jose, you want to start us off tonight, please?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to wish everybody a happy, safe, and healthy Independence Day. Hope you'll come out to the parade and take part in the festivities. That's all I have. Thanks, Mayor.
Terrific. Thank you. Commissioner Olson?
Nothing for me, thank you, Mayor.
Very good. Commissioner Rankin?
Just wanted to remind everyone about what time the parade starts. It starts at 12:45, steps off at Main and Grant Street and heads south to Warren. And then there is also the July 4th fireworks that start about 9:30 at 75th and Lamont Road. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Barnett?
Had no report, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Durkin?
Yeah, Mayor, just like Commissioner has stated earlier about Happy 4th of July, I just want to remind everyone that if you want to look at fireworks, please observe the ones that are done professionally. And if you so choose to blow off illegal fireworks, please remember the innocent that could possibly get hurt. I know I ask this every year when we talk about it, and when we read the paper on the 5th of July or turn the news on, we hear about those that are extremely hurt or hurt extremely bad. So I cannot ask for you to please leave the illegal fireworks alone and just watch the professionals. And if that's done, we'll all have a happy, safe 4th of July. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Sound advice there. Commissioner Newstat?
Thank you, Mayor. Some sad news to report tonight. Bill Core, beloved teacher, counselor, track coach, mentor, friend, husband, grandfather, passed away on June 24th. Mr. Core worked at Downers Grove North for, I don't know, probably 40 years or something like that. Mr. Core always remembered your name and always met you with a very hearty and welcome handshake. Many of us were able to grow up with his leadership and sensibilities under us, and we appreciate everything he gave to not only Downers Grove North, but to our community. So to Mary and the Core family, we give our deepest sympathies, and a memorial service will be held for Mr. Core at a later date, and I'll try to get some information on social media about that when it is arranged. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I want to just point something out that I believe was previously mentioned, but I think it bears repeating. Since I received a letter recently from Judge Robert J. Anderson of the 18th Judicial Circuit Court of DuPage County, basically speaking very highly of our own Sergeant Joel Marquez of the Downers Grove Police Department, who was recently awarded the Illinois State Bar Association Law Enforcement Award, which was created to recognize sworn law enforcement officers for conduct that promotes justice and to distinguish those individuals whose service to the public brings honor and respect to the entire criminal justice system. It is one of the highest honors that the ISBA gives out in that regard, and Sergeant Marquez was only one of 5 law enforcement officers from Illinois to be so honored, and I thought it was worth mentioning that again and expressing our appreciation and congratulations to Sergeant Marquez for that achievement and that recognition, particularly because Judge Anderson took the time to actually write us to not only point out that he was the one that nominated Sergeant Marquez and was thrilled that he received the award, but wanted to go above and beyond and make sure that he had written to us particularly to let us know what a terrific law enforcement officer Sergeant Marquez is and how lucky we are to have him within our community. So I wanted to share those sentiments from Judge Anderson. And once again, congratulate Sergeant Marquez on a well-deserved recognition. And I will also add my comments to those of my colleagues with respect to hoping everyone has a safe and terrific Independence Day holiday. Look forward to seeing everybody on the parade route. With any luck, we will have no deluges that day. We will have nice weather for the parade and for the fireworks, the professional ones.
Yes.
That brings us then to item 6, public hearings. We have no public hearings tonight, so we will turn to item 7, which is our consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments from anyone in the audience with respect to any of the items on the consent agenda? Are there any questions or comments from any members of the village council with respect to any items on the consent agenda? Commissioner Rankin.
I just wanted to highlight that part of the consent agenda is a fee waiver for the Park District. They're building a sports field. They want to put in an irrigation system, and we are waiving their fee to connect to the water system
But it's not in Washington.
on Walnut. Did I say Washington? I'm
No.
sorry. But that's just another example of us working cooperatively with our partners, and if we would have charged them, that would have just been a fee that would have been passed on to the taxpayers. So I just think that's a great effort. Thank the staff for including that.
Thank you for pointing that out. Any other questions, Commissioner Neustadt?
Just a quick one. We're also approving a contract with a storm sewer television inspection company that was bid through, the bid was actually issued by the Village of Lombard, and cooperating with the DuPage Municipal Partnering Initiative, our village is able to jump on that bid via our purchasing policy, and it offers some really great economies of scale for this work, and it's a direct outcome of, I believe, Manager Fieldman and DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference in the new way of business at that organization. So thank you for that, and a great way to find better and more, not just Downers Grove partnerships, but countywide partnerships.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions or comments? Any last questions or comments from any members of the audience on the
Can I ask you one quick question
consent agenda?
about the comment where we're not going to be getting our supply from another company?
Let's do this, if you would bear with me.
Oh, okay.
Since it doesn't pertain to anything that's on the consent
I'm
agenda, we'll take a vote, and then because we have so many people here tonight looking to ask questions, then I'm going to exercise an executive privilege and allow you to ask that question, because I bet you're not the only person. You might have that question. If you wouldn't mind just giving me 1 minute. No worries. We'll take care of a little business first. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Neustadt?
Aye.
Commissioner Durkin?
Aye.
Commissioner Jose?
Aye.
Commissioner Olson?
Aye.
Commissioner Rankin?
Aye.
Commissioner Barnett?
Aye.
Mayor Tully?
Aye. Consent agenda passed unanimously. And now for our first cooling break of the night. Nobody got that World Cup reference? So you don't have to get up, sir. The question was, it was reported out in prior meetings that the village would be departing from the electrical aggregation program that we had previously engaged in because it was advantageous at the time and would deliver lower rates to our residents. Due to changes of circumstances, we are leaving that program because it is no longer advantageous. If I could pose perhaps on Manager Fieldman to simply briefly repeat what we reported out last time since the question was raised.
Sure. Changes in the statewide market for the purchase of electricity have resulted in the fact that there's no one particular advantage of one company over ComEd, and ComEd, again, has competitive rates. Therefore, there's no compelling reason for the village to aggregate the purchase of electricity on its residents' behalf. The residents basically have the same buying power in the market as the village of Downers Grove or any other municipality. So therefore, we're not pursuing the aggregation program, but it's important to remember that each and every electrical customer has the ability to select their electrical supply. and residents can do so directly just by selecting the electrical supplier that works for them. So there's no compelling reason, there's no advantage or disadvantage to any particular electrical supplier.
Thank you, and hopefully that answers your question.
I was going to ask, what's the difference, what the supplier was giving us to what ComEd is going to be giving us?
On that note, why don't I suggest that maybe we can give you that answer offline, sir? Because I'm sure the details are available.
Pennies. I would like to say, the hell with you, ComEd. We'll pay a couple of pennies more for our residents.
Fair question?
Hopefully they'll lower.
Sure, fair question. If I can ask you to, we'll give you that detailed information after the meeting. It's not going to be a long one, I trust you.
No.
And Mr. Field will be happy to share that with you, if you don't mind waiting. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, back to the regularly scheduled meeting. We're on item 8, our active agenda. We have one item on our active agenda tonight. Do I have a motion to adopt an ordinance providing for issuance of one or more Series GO general obligation refunding bonds in aggregate principal amount not to exceed $25 million and provide for levy and collection of a direct annual tax for the payment of principal of and interest on said bonds?
So moved.
Second.
I did all the work for you.
You did.
Any questions or comments from any members of the audience on this item? Questions or comments from members of the village council?
We don't have an interest rate yet, do we? On where we're going to be with this?
Not a specific interest rate, but we know the market conditions are ripe to save us hundreds of thousands over the life of this bond repayment.
Okay. And possibly at the next meeting, if this goes, can you let us know what that purchase or refi rate would be?
Yes, under this process, we have to come back to the council to verify and close out those actions, which will include the interest rate and the actual savings.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the audience? Questions or comments from the council? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Newstead?
Aye.
Commissioner Durkin?
Aye.
Commissioner Jose?
Aye.
Commissioner Olson?
Aye.
Commissioner Rankin?
Aye.
Commissioner Barnett?
Aye.
Mayor Tully?
Aye. Matter passes unanimously. That brings us to item 9 on our agenda, which is our first reading or the workshop portion of our agenda where we entertain items for presentation and discussion only. They may be acted upon at a future date, but not tonight. As is customary, we turn over this portion of the meeting for presentations, items to none other than that fine young man, Village Manager David Fieldman. Mr. Fieldman.
Thank you, Mayor Tully. Several items on tonight's first reading agenda. The first is consideration of an ordinance amending the plan development at Midwestern University to allow for further investment in our community. And here to provide additional information on this item is our Acting Community Development Director, Stan Popovich.
Good evening, Mr. Popovich.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. Thank you, Dave. As Dave noted, the Midwestern University is before us tonight for a plan development amendment to their plan development. Midwestern University, as you know, is located in the northeast corner of the village at 555 31st Street. They encompass 105 acres. They are zoned R1, and they did receive plan development approval in May of 2012. As part of their petition tonight, it's an amendment to their approved plan development. I just want to remind you when the plan development was approved in May of 2012, we had two definitions of developments: major developments and minor developments. Major developments require council approval. Major developments include development on building pads not previously approved by council, buildings over 50 feet in height, and buildings that were proposed to be placed into open space. Minor developments are developments that are going to occur on previously approved building pads, and they include some minor additions to smaller buildings that meet height and setback requirements. Minor developments can be approved administratively through the Community Development Department. Midwestern University, this is their current master plan that was approved. They have a couple of different setbacks. They have a 10-foot parking and traffic setback, a 40-foot setback for buildings up to 35 feet in height. And this center section here shown in yellow, again, is a 200-foot setback for buildings greater than 35 feet in height with a maximum height of up to 100 feet. Before us tonight are two requests for major development projects. We'll be looking at this general area here shown in the blue box here. We'll flip to this slide here. This is the main campus area. The auditorium building, which was approved a couple years ago, is not shown because this is an older aerial. The first request for a building pad is located in this location. It's proposed to be a 4-story classroom and office building for a new College of Optometry. It's a 4-year program, 2 years will be on campus and 2 years will be off campus on clinicals. The proposed building is less than 50 feet in height, so if it is approved by Village Council, they can come in for building permit when they are ready to move forward with the project. The second major development project is in the northeast corner, immediately adjacent to the Executive Apartment Building. This is a 2-story, approximately 35 feet in height, residential-oriented building. It's going to house management personnel that when they visit from their Arizona campus, that they can stay on campus. Currently, what those management personnel do is stay off campus and then come to campus for meetings. So that'll be a residential nature development, 4 units, and some indoor parking for those folks as well that come visit. The minor developments that we've seen in more recent past, I just wanted to update everybody on, was the chapel was located in this area. In order to accommodate the new classroom and office building, that has been administratively approved to relocate in this location. There is a new, Midwestern University has been working with the county to develop a new entry drive location with a turn light and a traffic signal here. It would be turn lanes, both eastbound and westbound. That's been something that has been on staff's mind, I know council's mind for some time. So Midwestern has been working with the county to alleviate the situation. That's another minor development. And then the final minor development was an addition onto the executive office building here shown in blue. So it's sort of oriented the same way as the office building on the larger map. Those are the 3 things we've got here. We've got a little audio visual, a little visual here for you. If Mike can hit that for us, we'll fly around campus here. All the new developments are shown in red here to show some of the scale. We do believe it does meet all the standards in the plan development, along with the zoning ordinance here. We're zooming into where the new office building will be and where the chapel's located as well. So that just shows you how things will be oriented around the campus there. And then we'll move back out to the northwest corner here to have the overall campus view. Staff believes the proposal does meet the goals of the comprehensive plan, the requirements of the zoning ordinance, and the plan development standards that were laid out when the plan development was approved in May of 2012. At this point, if there's any questions, I could be happy to answer those for you.
Thank you for the presentation. Any questions or comments at this time from the audience? Questions or comments from the Village Council? Commissioner Durkin.
Yeah, I have no issues with this at all. I mean, this is, again, a great corporate partner that we have in our community and one to be extremely proud of because they do so many good things there and there's such little impact on the community around them that, you know, for them to keep coming back and telling us is great. I know that's what the ordinance or the law says or whatever. But the only question I have, and I don't know if staff can do it, it seems like they're coming back every year with a new, to make it a bigger and better campus than what it was yesterday. Do we have any idea, did they have any idea or have they shared with us what their long-term tenure plan is for that piece of their campus? I mean, they're adding new schools all the time, which is great. We got the dental clinic. I mean, be interested to know just, you know, how much further they're going to go.
They have not shared those with staff.
Okay.
However, in order to get the approval in May of 2012, they had to give us a campus master plan, which they do have on file, and Stan just walked us through some of those small changes that
Sure.
were approved administratively. So I think in talking with Dr. G about these issues, they have a plan that they generally stick to, but they do have to modify as conditions change, and that's really what they've been doing here. So we do have a plan that it tends to change on an annual basis.
Okay.
I imagine the timing would probably change based on circumstances as well, too. So they may
Yes.
have a 25, 30-year plan, but how quickly they move through that plan probably is also influenced by external factors.
They are moving more quickly through that plan than I think even they anticipated, just a tremendous amount of investment and growth in that great university.
Thank you, Commissioner. Other questions or comments from members of the Village Council? I'll just echo Commissioner Durkin's comments, and I know all of us are thinking the same thing, is I cannot think of a Midwest University project that's come before us that we didn't like. It always enhances the campus, it enhances the area, and it enhances the community. So we're pleased to be part of their success because it returns to us many-fold over. Next item, please.
Next item is consideration of an ordinance rezoning property at 2020 Ogden Avenue, and Stan will also present information on this item.
Thank you, Manager Fielman. The petition at 2020 Ogden Avenue is a rezoning petition. The property is currently located outlined here in yellow. It's currently zoned M1. It's 2020 Ogden Avenue. It's a Pugie Volkswagen dealership. Pugie is requesting a rezoning to B3, which is General Services and Highway Business. The request, this is the aerial, so it shows the main property building and then the automobiles around the site. The request will bring the land use into more of the intention of Ogden Avenue, a corridor commercial. B3 offers some more of what the village is looking for in the long-term comprehensive plan. The additional rezoning will also allow the petitioner to bring his sign in conformance. Larger properties of this size are allowed to have a 15-foot tall, 60-square-foot sign along Ogden Avenue there. So this will help bring a sign into conformance throughout the village here. The proposal meets all the standards for rezoning approval, zoning ordinance block requirements, and it meets the intent and the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions or comments from any members of the audience with respect to the proposed rezoning? Questions or comments from members of the village council with respect to the proposed rezoning? And it meets all the standards, which makes it easy, but this in some sense arguably is a downzoning.
Yes.
One could say.
It could be, but it really allows some flexibility in the signage that the petitioner is looking for, so.
Right. Well, I only point that out because that makes it easy also. Thank you. Any final questions from the audience? Hearing the next item, that would be 9C, please.
Is consideration of an ordinance proposing a special service area number 7 for the Dunham subdivision, and I'm going to turn it once again over to Stan Popovich for this item.
Thank you, Manager Fielman. Dunham subdivision, SSA number 7 tonight. The property known as 7143 Dunham Road, here outlined in blue, is at the southeast corner of Dunham Road and Crystal Avenue. The 3-lot subdivision was approved in March 18th of this year. This is the existing site as it started off with one large parcel there. The petitioner has since subdivided the lot into 3 areas, subdivided the single lot into 3 lots, and is approved to do 12 townhouses there through the building permit process. They have established a homeowners association to maintain the detention basin, which is shown here in blue. The village has an ordinance to propose to establish the SSA so that if the homeowner association fails to maintain the detention basin or any stormwater, that the village can enact a levy to provide funds for the maintenance of the pond. This is the first step in the SSA process. There will be a public hearing scheduled for September 9th. After that date, there's a 60-day objection period and then an establishment of the SSA. We do not anticipate any objections as the developer remains the owner of all 3 lots, and only the property owners can object to the development of the SSA. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from any members of the audience on this item? Questions from the village council with respect to this item? Commissioner Durkin?
Yeah, it doesn't really regard this particular item, but it regards the property. There are more down panels of fencing than there are standing fencing, if that makes any sense. So the existing fence that was once one big fence has more panels down than standing, if that's easier to understand. I know I brought this up to your attention a while ago. It's looking pretty shabby.
We
Can
started.
you share any information on that?
Yes, we started property maintenance enforcement with this owner.
And it was the owner of this property that came to us for this, right?
Yes.
Can we kind of tie the two together?
This is something that actually benefits the village more than the developer, so.
I understand that yeah, okay.
So that, we're going to keep moving this one forward and independently work on our property maintenance issues.
All right. Because I know it's only going to be a matter of time before the residents, who we all heard from, come before us with this.
Yes, absolutely.
Mayor,
Commissioner Burnett?
I don't need necessarily an answer in this moment, but I'd like a little bit of background on how we came up with 3%. How that relates to other SSAs, other situations where we have homeowners association kind of back coverage via an SSA, just curious.
Sure, we're happy to show you the math and reasoning behind that. We'll have that for you next week.
Thank you, Commissioner. Other questions or comments on the establishment of this SSA, which was actually a condition of our approval of the project.
Correct.
Hearing no further questions, next item, please.
Thank you.
Next item is consideration of a bid for a purchase of a replacement truck for our Public Works fleet. Here to present information on this item is our Public Works Director, Nan Newland.
Good evening, Ms. Newland.
Good evening. A motion is requested to approve the purchase of a replacement 2014 Mack 5-ton truck from Posey Truck Center of Gary, Indiana, in the amount of $182,334. The 2014 fleet replacement plan includes the replacement of 2 one-ton dump trucks, which are assigned to the Public Works Department, and an amount of $220,000 was included in the equipment replacement fund for this purchase. The fleet team has since met to review the condition and uses of these trucks and recommends, instead of the 2 one-ton trucks this year, that we replace 1 5-ton vehicle, which is vehicle 274, which is a 1996 Ford 5-ton dump truck. A call for bids was published. 4 bids were received. Unfortunately, the 2 lowest bidders did not meet the contract requirements. The 3rd low bidder was from Posey Truck Center. It meets all of our specifications and can be delivered in the time frame that we had in our contract. Staff recommends award of this contract to Posey Truck Center, and I'd be happy to answer any questions about this item.
Thank you. Any questions from the audience with respect to this vehicle purchase? Of course, calling it a vehicle isn't really doing it justice, is it?
It's a Mack.
Questions or comments from the council with respect to this vehicle? Commissioner Rankin?
So when was this 5-ton trucks in line to be replaced?
We can get that information for you. I don't know off the top of my head.
Because I understand how this works, I mean, we kind of put money aside and allow for these purchases, so, not that I have any problem with it, I'm just trying to understand that if you defer those other 2 trucks, how does that affect the future that you set aside for them?
This is basically a timing issue and a swap, so we'll skip the 2 that we had planned for this year and pick one up that was planned for later, and then I'm sure in the following years it'll swap, and it's about the same amount, generally speaking. But we can get you the information as to when we had scheduled or intended to replace this 1999 vehicle.
Okay, thanks.
Other questions or comments?
Just a comment. I hate buying stuff from out of state.
Yeah, I know, I was just trying to way to bring that up.
I mean, I know you gotta do the right thing, but man, that makes me crazy.
There's no Illinois truck companies.
Fair point.
There were 2, but
Well, there's
they
2.
couldn't get their act together apparently.
Yeah.
They brought us the wrong truck.
But were they disqualified because it was a lesser truck than the Mack?
Yes.
It didn't meet specs.
Okay. Gotta buy a Mack. You need that Bulldog. And the hood.
You may have just become a testimonial. Other questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, we'll move to the next item, please. That'll be 9E as in Edward.
This item is the award of a contract for a roof replacement at the Public Works facility, and here to present information on this item is our Deputy Village Manager, Mike Baker.
Mr. Baker, good evening.
Good evening. As the manager said, this item is for the replacement of the Public Works roof. It would award a contract to CSR Roofing Contractors in the amount of $261,350. This is a building that's actually nearing 20 years in age and has a roof that is in need of replacement due to several maintenance challenges that it has. It covers approximately 61,000 square foot of space, the interior office space, and a large garage that the roof spans over as well. Staff issued a call for bids, received 4 responses, including a very favorable low bid response, which, after checking references, we're confident they can perform all the work required in a satisfactory manner, and that is why CSR Roofing Contractors is being recommended for this project. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Any questions or comments on the roof work item from members of the audience? Any questions or comments from members of the Village Council? Hearing none, we'll move to the last item on our first reading or workshop agenda, which is 9F as in Frank.
Which is a consideration of an award of contract for 2014 road resurfacing, part of our larger road maintenance program, and Nan will also present information on this item.
If this is a motion that we're requesting to award a contract for 2014 resurfacing B contract to Central Blacktop of LaGrange, Illinois, in the amount of $1,812,412.80. This contract is one of several components of the 2014 roadway maintenance program, which also includes a Contract A, which was earlier approved this year, which was also with Central Blacktop, which is currently underway, as well as our spring roadway patching contract and our crack seal and seal contract. We will also be coming to you later with the fall 2014 patching contract. We have a list of streets here which are included in this contract. The scope of the contract includes resurfacing these streets, which is about 3 centerline miles of street resurfacing with this contract. We'll be also replacing defective sections of pavement. We'll be patching them, and as well as replacing defective concrete curb and gutter along these sections of roadway. A call for bids was issued, and 4 bids were received. Central Blacktop Company was the low bidder. They satisfactorily completed the village's 2006, 2007, 2012, 2013, and as I said earlier, are currently doing our 2014 resurfacing A contract. Staff is satisfied that their work will meet our specifications and recommends award of the contract to Central Blacktop, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. It's a lot of blacktop. Any questions or comments from members of the audience? Questions or comments from members of the village council? Commissioner Durkin?
How do these pricing, or how does the pricing we received this year, this particular bid, compared to the bids that we received for the pricing of previous years? I know that we bidded so much, we budgeted so much for this type of work. Bids came in below our budget. We were able to do so much more. Where are we at? Is things starting to catch up, like ComEd rates are catching up? I mean, is there?
Contracts are very, asphalt prices and contracts with asphalt are just gradually, very gradually increasing. Nothing extreme, but we have been watching other contracts around the region and budgeting accordingly, but they're very gradually increasing.
Okay, so they're starting to tick up now. All right. Back to reality.
Yep.
Thank you. The only question I had is approximately 3/4 of the funding for this project comes from motor fuel tax funds. Not tonight, but when we get into our budget discussions, it's one of the things that we should probably just keep an eye on how that is trending going forward with changes that I won't get into tonight in terms of that source continuing to be available in the way that it currently is. It's obviously a $1.8 million project, about almost $1.4 million of which is coming from MFT funds, which is candidly making that project possible.
Correct.
Stay tuned. Thank you.
That ends our first reading tonight, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That brings us to item 10, the mayor's report. I have nothing to add to my earlier comments about wishing everyone a safe and happy Independence Day. So we'll move right to item 11, the manager's report. Mr. Fieldman.
No report tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Item 12, village attorney's report. Ms. Petrarca.
Thank you, Mayor. Only 3 items to present this evening. The first is an ordinance amending the comprehensive zoning ordinance of the Village of Downers Grove to rezone the property located at 2020 Ogden Avenue, an ordinance approving an amendment to Plan Development Number 51 to allow revisions to the campus master plan at Midwestern University located at 555 31st Street, and an ordinance proposing the establishment of Special Service Area Number 7 in the village and providing for a public hearing and other procedures in connection therewith. All 3 of these items will be on next week's active agenda.
Thank you very much. That brings us to lucky item 13, which is reserved for an opportunity for council members to raise any items of new business. Do any members of the village council have any items of new business that they would like to share with the rest of the council? Hearing none, that brings us to item 14, which is adjournment. We cannot adjourn tonight. We need to adjourn into closed session. So I will ask for a motion to do so, please.
It's number 9, right?
Security? Yes.
That's not what I have on my list up here. Sorry.
Let me give you my number 9.
Pause, please, for a moment.
Enjoy the pleasant background music while we pause for time.
Mayor Tully.
You gotta do things right here.
I move to convene in the closed session pursuant to Section 2C8 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act to discuss security procedures and the use of personnel and equipment to respond to an actual, a threatened, or a reasonably potential danger to the safety of employees, staff, the public, or public property.
Any questions or comments on the motion? Just for clarification purposes, there's no clear and present danger. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Newstead?
Aye.
Commissioner Durkin?
Aye.
Commissioner Jose?
Aye.
Commissioner Olson?
Aye.
Commissioner Rankin?
Aye.
Commissioner Barnett?
Aye.
Mayor Tully?
Aye, thank you. We are